We'll now look at the most important organ of our body, that is human eye. And without the human eye there is no life, and it is supposed to be the important organ of the human body, and that's the reason we can define the human eye as the most significant. It's most significant because it enables us to see the beautiful and colorful world around us. So it is just like a camera. So how the pictures are captured in a camera, so whatever the things you are observing are captured in your human eye. So it consists of various parts. Outer portion of the eye we are very familiar, and you can think of eyeballs, iris, all these things are the terms known. But behind the scene, behind the eyeball, you have some other parts. And how does this exactly works? How does the eye function? That is what we are to learn. So the various parts of the human eye and their functions are as follows. So one after the other we'll just look at. So whenever you think of a human eye, so during the Diwali and all, most of the people gets affected with the cornea. So cornea is the outer layer where the light enters into the eye through a thin membrane. It's a thin membrane, thin layer, that is called as cornea. The first affected thing is cornea. Cornea can be replaceable in fact. So it is on the front surface of the eyeball. So whatever is visible to you, so just above the eyeball, front side of the eyeball, you can see the cornea. So obviously you can look at the curvature of the eye, you can see it is spherical in shape. So it's spherical in shape, cornea is spherical in shape. You can just look into the figure how the cornea is placed, and it refracts the light. That means whenever the light falls onto the eye, it undergoes a refraction, and from the outer surface whatever the light falls, majority of the portion will get refracted. Then comes the pupil. Pupil is one which controls and regulates the amount of light. That means lot of light is falling onto the eye, but only a portion will be taken. That means depending upon the intensities and all, the pupil controls the amount of light that enters into the eye. And this pupil, size of the pupil is controlled by iris, and no two human beings will have the similar iris. That is the reason in Aadhaar cards and all we are using this iris mechanism. So it is a dark muscular diaphragm that controls the size of the pupil. So when the size of the pupil is controlled, obviously the amount of light enters also will get controlled. And you can see in the image, most of the portion of this human eye is mentioned as a blue in color, and two types of liquids I have mentioned. One is aqueous fluid, the other one is vitreous fluid. So these fluids, generally you can see the eye, whenever you look at the eye, it is watery somewhat. So that is the reason whenever you think of the fluids before the diaphragm, the pupil, that is called as the aqueous fluid, and behind that it is vitreous. So that is how the liquids are mentioned over here in the figure. Then comes, after entering through the pupil, cornea is the first portion, then enters through the pupil, iris controls the size of the pupil, and behind this diaphragm you have a crystalline lens which is controlled by ciliary muscles. You can see the ciliary muscles in the diagram, which will move here and there so as to adjust the focal length of the crystalline lens. Crystalline lens is just like the lens system of our camera. So this crystalline lens will get the image of whatever the object you are looking at, and it provides the finer adjustment of the focal length required to focus the objects. Whatever you have seen, a distant object or nearer object, whatever it is, that focus can be on the retina with the help of a adjustment of the focal length of crystalline lens. And ciliary muscles make the crystalline lens to move freely so as to make the adjustment. Ciliary muscles are, as shown in the figure, just surrounded to the crystalline lenses. Now the next comes is retina. This is the crucial part. This is an important part of our human eye. Retina cannot be replaced. So here focus from the lens falls on the retina, which is inverted of course, and it will give, then again your brain can interpret to so as to get the real image of course. So focus from the lens falls on the retina, that is inverted, and it has got sensitive cells, because here all the information gets recorded, and these cells are made of cones and rods, because you are looking at the colorful world which is having the number of colors, because light is made of different colors, so you are observing the different colors with your eye. So cones sensitive to bright light and rods are sensitive to dim light, because all the portions whatever you observe may not have the same intensities. You are observing the bright things as well as the dark things. So bright light is observed, that means the reciprocation is due to the cones, and here dim light is due to the rods, and the colors are sensed by cones. So cones sense the color. So that is how retina consists of the cells, sensitive, light sensitive cells. And here once this information is collected, it senses the colors and the sizes, all those things, then it will send it to the optic nerve. Then it will be, these cells generate the electric signals and send to the optic nerve. The next thing is optic nerve. So optic nerve function is, it carries these signals to the brain. So whatever the information provided by the retina to the optic nerve is carried to the brain, where brain interprets that information. So here, as I explained, the crystalline lens, the focal length and the movement of crystalline lens is just because of the motion of the ciliary muscles, and in fact it is some watery content, so there will be a sufficient lubrication so that you can move your eyeball such that because of that the lens easily with the help of this lubrication. So this optic nerve gives the information to the brain, and brain is an organ which interprets the information and gives the sense of vision to us. That is how the function of human eye. And here one more point you need to remember, at the junction of optic nerve and retina, there is no presence of sensory cells. So the sensory cells, what I said here, they are present in the retina, but at the junction where the retina meets with the optic nerve, there are no such sensory cells. So definitely when there are no sensory cells, there won't be any vision over there. So that is what called as the blind spots. People are blind because of the focus is falling onto this blind spot. That's the reason they are able to look at the things. So the junction of optic nerve and retina, where you don't have any sensory cells, that point is called as blind spot. So this is one definition you need to remember. But overall, about each term associated with the human eye, so by looking at the figure given, you can see the various parts, how they are accommodated, how light is entering and how it gets controlled and how it is sensed, then how it is transferred to the brain. All these things you can easily explain with the help of functionality of each and every terms associated with the human eye.